Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that, like, 0.2% of your entire country's gross domestic product just paused.
Just vanished overnight.
Literally vanished. $4 billion gone from the annual ledger, and not because of a market crash or, a trade embargo, but because 7 individuals had to fulfill their national duty.
It's wild to even think about.
It really is.
Yeah.
The teasers dropped, the military gates loomed, the entire fandom held its breath. And then an emergency warning flashed across screens worldwide, and in an instant, the K-pop world was turned upside down.
It was chaos.
Total chaos. Welcome to Starscope K-Report. Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Halley wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
And for today's deep dive, we're unpacking what is, honestly, arguably the most monumental structural shift in modern music history.
No exaggeration.
None at all. We are breaking down the massive return of BTS from their multi-year military hiatus. We're going to examine the mechanics behind Bighit's frantic emergency warnings back in the summer of 2025.
Plus the total digital infrastructure collapse surrounding their 2026 comeback details.
Oh, we are definitely getting into the Weverse crash. And of course, we have to analyze that chaotic, highly emotional, instantly iconic OT7 reunion live stream.
I mean, we are pulling from official agency statements, ground-level reports from Dispatch and Arab News, and the raw transcripts of the members themselves to figure out exactly how this historic return was orchestrated.
It was a masterclass in logistics.
Truly. And if you love staying updated on your bias, make sure you're subscribed to Starscope K-Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead. So to really grasp the magnitude of this return, you kind of have to rewind to June 2025.
Right, the final countdown.
Exactly. According to our official sources, like Dispatch and Soompi, you had this incredibly tight, staggered discharge window approaching. So on June 10th, RM wraps up his service in the 15th Infantry Division's military band, and V completes his time in the elite special duty team in the 2nd Corps' military police unit.
The SDT. I mean, we all saw those tactical gear photos.
The internet lost its mind.
Completely lost it.
And then, literally 24 hours later, on June 11th, Jimin and the Maknae Jungkook were discharged together from the 5th Infantry Division.
Which, presents an absolute logistical nightmare that local authorities and their agency, HYBE, have been dreading for years.
Oh, absolutely.
You have 4 global icons stepping back into civilian life within a 48-hour window. These aren't just celebrities, right? They're moving economies.
Which brings us to the Weverse notice. BG8 Music issues this massive, all-caps emergency warning, explicitly begging fans not to visit the military sites in Yanshan and Shenzhen.
They were practically pleading.
They really were. They cite extreme safety risks, pointing out that these are active military operations with incredibly narrow access roads and, very limited physical space. But here is where the mechanics of this situation confuse me.
How so?
Well, you got millions of fans worldwide, people who have waited years for this exact 48-hour window, trying to quietly sneak 4 of the most recognizable faces on the planet out of a military base. It feels like trying to hide a supernova inside a cardboard box.
Right, it's just not happening.
Exactly. How is it even mathematically realistic to ask a fandom of that size to just stay home?
I mean, it sounds impossible on paper, especially if you look at the historical context of K-pop fandoms, which, let's be honest, were historically known for mobbing airports and overwhelming public spaces.
Yeah, the airport visuals alone can be terrifying.
Totally. But the psychology of this specific fandom had fundamentally shifted during the hiatus. You had this really fascinating unspoken treaty between domestic Korean netizens, the K-nets, and the international fans.
Oh, really? How did that work?
Well, the emotion was at an absolute fever pitch, right? You had fans booking flights from Mexico, Turkey, Brazil, just to be on Korean soil when the gates opened. But despite that massive geographical migration, they completely respected the physical boundaries of the military bases.
Wait, so they actually managed to self-police? Because you look at the reports, and there were 0 mob scenes blocking military traffic.
0. They self-policed through organized alternatives. They settled for brief, coordinated messages and set up designated greeting locations far away from the sensitive military infrastructure.
That is so impressive.
It really is. The streets miles away were lined with banners and balloons. You saw one that read Jungkook's voice, back to the world, and another literally asking Jimin for an immediate world tour.
Because, of course, they were ready for the tour.
Always ready for the tour. But the actual airspace and roadways of the bases were left totally clear. And to understand why they respected that boundary so fiercely, you have to look at the cultural weight of the service itself.
Right, the duty aspect of it.
Exactly. Jimin spoke to Arab News about this, explicitly stating that the military, quote, wasn't an easy place. He talked about how a small word of kindness means the world to a soldier.
Wow. That's a really sobering detail. It kind of strips away the idol persona entirely.
Completely. It served as a grounding reminder to the public that behind the massive celebrity apparatus, these guys were fulfilling a very grueling, mandatory national duty. They were living the exact same harsh realities as every other young South Korean man.
Right.
And that shared sacrifice commands a deep societal respect that even the most fervent fandom logic bows to.
And it's a sacrifice that temporarily put a massive economic engine on ice? We touched on this at the top, but the numbers from our sources are just staggering. Before their enlistment, BTS was generating an economic impact of over $4 billion yearly.
Let that number sink in for a second. $4 billion.
It's hard to even wrap your head around.
Think about the massive, sprawling corporations required to generate $4 billion in economic ripples. And here you have one single musical act accounting for a measurable 0.2% of South Korea's total GDP.
So the moment they step out of those gates in Yanqian and Chuncheon, you aren't just watching a pop group reunite. You're watching an economic catalyst power back on.
Exactly. But, while the physical discharge was shockingly orderly, the digital space was a completely different story.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that quiet respect at the military gates was just the calm before the storm. Wait till you hear what completely broke the internet's infrastructure just a few months later.
Okay, so fast forward to January 4, 2026. We're tracking reports from Outlook Respawn. Bighit drops the bomb everyone has been waiting for.
The notification heard around the world.
Truly. They announced BTS, the fifth album, officially slated for release on March 20, 2026. And the immediate influx of global traffic is so severe that Weverse literally crashes.
Just completely tanks. And to understand the server architecture failure there, you have to remember that Weverse is a platform explicitly engineered by HYBE to handle massive simultaneous fandom surges.
Right. It was built for this exact demographic.
Exactly. But the entire system buckled under the weight of it because this wasn't a slow build of traffic. This is millions of devices across every single time zone on Earth pinging a server simultaneously the exact second that push notification went out.
Just boom, server down.
Yeah. And the cultural magnitude of the announcement justified the panic. I mean, this wasn't a placeholder digital single. This was their first full group studio album since 2020's Map of the Soul. 7?
14 brand new tracks.
14.
Now, looking at the mechanics of the music industry, this is where I want to challenge the conventional wisdom a bit. In the fast-paced K-pop industry, a 4-year hiatus is traditionally a death sentence.
Oh, 100%. It's usually the end of an era.
Right. You have new groups debuting every single week, algorithms shifting, audience attention spans shrinking. The fifth generation was already well underway.
Very true.
By all historical metrics, a group taking a multi-year break should return to a fraction of their audience. Yet for BTS, this break seemed to act like a pressure cooker. How did they generate a demand so fierce that an all-kill on the charts wasn't just a hope, it was mathematically inevitable?
Well, it's because they never actually went on a hiatus, at least not in the traditional sense of disappearing from the market. They executed what you might call an asynchronous deployment strategy. The agency and the members laid out this incredibly calculated trail of massive solo hits that kept them constantly active in the algorithmic ecosystem.
Oh, like the solo projects?
Exactly. Take Jimin's solo track, Whoo! That song held records on the Billboard Hot 100 for the longest-running K-pop song. They were constantly present.
That's like a financial strategy. Instead of investing all your capital at once and then just withdrawing, you use dollar-cost averaging. They trickled cultural capital into the market to keep the Hallyu wave cresting, even while the full group was physically confined to military bases.
That is the perfect way to look at it. They kept their footprint active, and behind the scenes, they were aggressively mitigating the timeline. RM later revealed that they had been prepping this massive 2026 return since mid-2025.
Wow, so right after he was discharged.
Literally the moment he was out, he spent months in the US working heavily on production and arrangements. They hit the ground running so that when the fifth album dropped, it wouldn't just be a nostalgic victory lap, it would be a dominant, industry-shaking release.
And if you think a simple album announcement crashing servers is wild, definitely hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update. Because the ticketing logistics for what comes next require a PhD in patience to understand.
Oh, the ticketing bloodbath is coming, but we have to look at the immediate aftermath of the album drop first. Because the way they chose to celebrate tells you everything you need to know about why that parasocial bond survived a 4-year gap.
Let's set the cinematic scene here. It's early April 2026. The fifth album is dropped, and it instantly debuts at #1 on both the Billboard Hot 100 and the Billboard 200.
Just absolute dominance.
Right. No Western press junkets, no massive traditional media tour to get there, just pure, unadulterated fan consumption. And to celebrate this historic double chart dominance, how do they address the world? They cram all 7 members into a single frame on a Weverse live stream.
Yes. No highly polished script, no media moderators, just the raw, unfiltered, chaotic energy that fans had been starved of for years.
The visuals of this live stream, based on the raw transcripts we have, are so striking. You see these 7 global titans, and they look completely exhausted but profoundly elated.
They were so giddy.
They really were. They were sitting there in their rehearsal gear. At one point, RM and V actually realized midstream that they were wearing the exact same BTS Nike gear, and they just crack up about it.
It was so casual, you can hear them joking about the set decoration, too. The protocol team apparently went all out with these massive floral arrangements, and you can hear the guys laughing about the real flowers falling apart midstream and complaining about the intense smell.
It's that immediate dismantling of the polished idol image.
Exactly, but the detail that truly breaks the internet during this stream is the customized cake.
Oh, the orange cake. I was reading this part of the transcript and trying to understand why a bright orange cake was funny. The context is just brilliant.
It's the ultimate inside joke. So someone on the staff brings out this vibrant orange cake, and the members are staring at it, throwing out the most ridiculous theories on live video.
Trying to decode it like a music video teaser.
Right. They're wondering if they ran out of yellow frosting or if it's supposed to represent a specific theme. And then it clicks for one of them. The cake is orange because the culinary team knew RM is obsessed with mango sticky rice.
It's those hyper-specific, almost absurd details that cement their dominance. Think about it. You were watching the biggest musical act on the planet, fresh off a Billboard all-kill, and instead of giving a PR-approved speech about their artistic journey, they are roasting a mango sticky rice cake.
Exactly. It makes the viewer feel like they are sitting in the room with 7 friends, not watching untouchable celebrities.
And the banter just did not stop. You had RM deadpanning about the physical toll of preparing for their upcoming G-Day concert.
Yeah.
He's joking that he's been practicing so intensely. He's literally rolling around the studio in a wheelchair.
The wheelchair joke.
Yeah, riding in a, quote, chairman style and making the other members pull him around.
I can just picture the visual of him demanding to be rolled through a dance practice. And then you have the younger members, Jungkook and V, bringing up the absolute chaos of filming TikTok dance challenges.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Apparently, Jungkook was terrorizing everyone by carrying a camera around constantly, forcing them to film these challenges. V is on the stream complaining about the editing process, and they get into this whole tangent about a video they filmed years ago just jumping on a bed.
It's that classic chaotic sibling dynamic that you simply cannot manufacture in a boardroom.
But what makes this group's dynamic so bulletproof is how quickly they can pivot from that chaos into breathtaking vulnerability.
Right, the mood shift was intense.
Right in the middle of this stream, they dropped surprise news about a deluxe LP version of the album releasing on April 3.
They announced a hidden track is going to be included on this upcoming vinyl release, and the revelation that comes with it completely shifts the tone of the room.
The members start teasing Suga, chanting, "Suga was crying! He was crying!" And instead of brushing it off, Suga actually admits it on stream.
Wait, really? He admitted it?
Yeah. He explains that he was deeply upset when this specific track was originally cut from the main track list because he feels incredibly attached to it. They had to fight behind the scenes to ensure it got included on the Deluxe LP.
Wow, think about the mechanics of that emotion. You have a producer and artist who has broken every conceivable record in the music industry.
Literally every record.
Who has accumulated wealth and legacy beyond imagination, literally shedding tears over the tracklist placement of a single song. It proves to the audience that the multi-year hiatus, the military service, the global fame, none of it diluted their fundamental passion for the music itself.
It's a masterful contrast, roasting a mango cake 1 minute and dissecting the emotional weight of a hidden track the next. And speaking of things that carry immense weight, we have to talk about how they are taking this album on the road.
The Arirang World Tour. The official Weverse notices for this tour are rolling out, and the scale is difficult to comprehend. We knew they were planning a global stadium run, but the immediate demand data forced them to add dates before the general sale even opened.
They had to scale up instantly.
Yeah, we just got confirmation for a massive show in Jakarta at the Gelora Bung Karno main stadium on December 29, 2026.
And they are building this infrastructure to stretch well into the following year. They just appended a date in Bulacan at the Philippine Sports Stadium for March 16, 2027.
I looked at the ticketing process outlined in these Weverse notices, and it is a highly structured, tiered fortress. You have Army membership pre-sales that filter out the general public almost entirely.
Total fortress.
Right, why build such a complex exclusionary system just to sell tickets?
Well, because it is a targeted war on scalping and a reinforcement of loyalty. By locking the tickets behind a tiered membership system, HYBE ensures that the fans who stayed active and invested during the 4-year military gap are the ones rewarded with access.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
It actively incentivizes the exact fan behavior that kept their economy afloat while they were serving. They didn't just come back and hope the fans were still there. They built an ecosystem that rewarded them for waiting.
And while the Arirang Tour continues to break venue records and redefine what a global stadium footprint looks like, there's a much larger industry-wide question that this comeback leaves us with.
Yeah, when you zoom out and look at the macro-level impact on the Korean entertainment industry, BTS just dismantled a decades-old assumption.
That military service ruins careers.
Exactly. They proved that a multi-year mandatory military hiatus does not have to be a boy group's funeral. This raises a fascinating proposition for the future. Will rival agencies analyze this exact timeline? The asynchronous solo drops, the controlled digital presence, the hyper-organized fan policing, and use the BTS blueprint to turn mandatory military service from a dreaded career roadblock into the ultimate tension-building marketing strategy.
That is wild to think about. A built-in hype machine.
Exactly. A total paradigm shift for K-pop.
You've been listening to Starscope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, key dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.